Hello and welcome. My name is Fiona Marie Ellis, coach, author, mentor, and trainer. And for over 10 years, I've been helping people to release, reset, and rebuild for an aligned future. Welcome to day 15 of Activating the Magic to magically heal your relationships. Now, this is a beautiful practice, and it's going to be a continue on from what we did on day 3. Which was all about our relationships. And as you'll find over the next few days, we're going to start to repeat certain practices through the magic journey. Some that we've started with a small foundation. It's starting to build that momentum now as we take it on to from something that was quite simple. Now we're going to start to give thanks for things that are a little bit more problematic. So for those of you who've continued on this journey with me, and for everyone who's got to day 15, welcome and congratulations. I know that it can be a challenge to get this far, so I do acknowledge you for continuing on the journey. For those of you who are finding this video for the first time, please make sure you go back and find day 0, in fact, where you'll get the overview and do the initial stages of the magic. Because as we move through this 28-day journey, it is all about building momentum. So you remember in day 3, we chose 3 relationships that were pretty good, okay. I like to choose relationships that are still influential, but positive relationships, and we gave thanks and gratitude for those 3 people. Now today we're going to take it deeper, and we're going to focus on just one, but the problematic relationship that you have in your life. And we all have them. Some of us, they're extreme, some of us it's just a little niggle, but we all have some relationship, whether it's a colleague, a family member, even a child or a parent, someone that we have in our life that is causing us some form of frustration or really significant challenge. Now I'm recording this in March 2020. So for some people, that means it's a person that you don't not just have a challenging relationship with, but that might be someone that you are now stuck in isolation with or safe in isolation with. That those challenges may now have been magnified. So whoever you choose, it can be someone you've had a long-term, rivalry or uneasy with, or someone who's just starting to grate on your nerves right now. That's the person to choose for this exercise. Because what we find is when we are thinking negative, if we've got a toxic relationship, if we've got something that's not working, and we find ourselves directing negative thoughts to that person, those thoughts, those intentions are reflected back to us because our unconscious mind doesn't really know the difference whether we're talking to them or we're talking to us. If we're talking about them, if we're using words like hatred or any of the negativity words about what we think about the other person, our unconscious mind is eavesdropping and it starts to believe those things about ourselves as well. And that's definitely not what we want. And oftentimes the person who we have the most difficult relationship with is someone who's hurt us. And if any of you are doing my Healing Through the Emotional Spectrum program, which is part of the Aligned Future collection, you'll know that hurt is only possible when we've been vulnerable with someone and they've taken advantage or they've hurt that in some way. So at one stage you would have had to have some form of vulnerability or relationship with this person for you to be able to escalate it to the level of hatred. So that's why healing this relationship is so important. Now for some people, maybe this relationship, healing this is so important because it is a family member. Or for some of you, it's going to be an ex-partner and you've got children together, you still have to communicate with them, or even just resolving that to release the energy from your past, which we're going to do in some future exercises as well. So whoever you choose, recognize that in doing this exercise, it's not about unconditional forgiveness. It's not about any of that. It is seeking to find the balance. It is seeking to find the lessons that you learned as a result of this connection. It's one of my favorite exercises. I love doing this with my clients, where we seek to find all of the tools and resources we currently have today that we wouldn't have had if we hadn't met that person, if we hadn't had that toxic relationship, if they hadn't been such a bully, if they hadn't been so nasty, if they hadn't treated you that way, taken advantage of you that way, whatever they did that caused you to think of them as your negative relationship. If that hadn't happened, there would be a skill that you wouldn't have, or somebody else that you wouldn't have met, or something else that you wouldn't have done. So this exercise, you're going to choose just one toxic relationship. If you want to choose more, go for it. But the minimum is just one. Find that one relationship, potentially, and same as we did with the practice number 3. Make sure it's someone who is still significantly influencing your life today. Maybe because they're in it, so it might be that ex that you're still dealing with the kids, something like that. Or because you are still holding on to that energy and you need to release it for you to move forward. So whoever you choose, it's someone who's still influencing. And what you're going to do is you're going to look for 10 things about that person that you can be grateful for. So it's very, very powerful, especially if it's someone that you've had a strong connection with. And the Buddha quote that they talk about is, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the only one who gets burned. Or as I like to, my way of saying it is, it's like drinking poison and hoping your enemy will die. So if you're holding on to that resentment, that anger, that hatred, those emotions will cause dis-ease in your own energy flow. So you've got to let it out. You've got to let it go. Gratitude is one of the simplest ways to do it. So you're going to find your person and you're going to look for 10 things that you are grateful for as a result of knowing them. There is gold in every relationship. This was done, I know Demartini, John Demartini talks about this, where he went on this pure positivity thing and then he realized that sometimes it's about the balance and finding the gratitude. And even people that were survivors of the Holocaust or the wars or in Nazi camps found a way to find gratitude for even people like Hitler. So if they can do it, you can do it about your ex or about that family member or about somebody who's pissing you off. All right. So, so what you want to do is you want to find how that relationship has brought richness to your life. So for example, their name, you're going to say their name. I am grateful for what? Okay. So for example, Paul, I am grateful for our time together. While the marriage did end, I learned a lot. I'm so much wiser today, and I use what I learned from our marriage in many of my relationships today. Or Paul, I'm grateful for everything you did to try and make our marriage work, because 10 years of marriage means you did try. So read through the examples of the book. You're looking for precious moments. You're looking for, I know for me, I have a whole group of friends now that were only possible because of someone hurting me. I have actually pretty much everything in my life right now is because somebody opened my eyes to my own spiritual awakening and my own self again. So thank you to those people who, in another way of looking at it, hurt me. But right now I'm looking at it going, oh my gosh, thank goodness for that, because now I am who I am today. So find the balance, find the things that you can be grateful for, whether it's something they are being, doing, having, or giving. Something they were being around you, doing to you, something that they gave you. So for some people, if you've been put down or belittled or bullied, then that can give you the strength to find your voice, to find your courage with someone else. Okay, so whatever it happens to be, use the examples in the book if you need a bit more inspiration, and find at least 10 things to be grateful for about that person and watch your energy change. Feel the energy change. By the end of finding 10 things, you're going to feel a lot differently about them, and it can actually influence how they interact with you. Even if you don't say these things to their face, it's not about that. You can. It's actually just simply about feeling it and shifting your energy, because when you shift what's in you, what's outside of you will change. This person can change their way of dealing with you. And I've got amazing stories from my clients that have had this, that have done this process and had the change experienced in their reality. So I trust this is as pivotal for you as well. So I apologize, this video is a little late going up. We had some recording technical challenges over the last 24 hours, but we're back on track now. So trust you enjoy this practice. Really appreciate you sticking it out and continuing on this journey. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So take care of you, take care of others, and take care of the greater good. Bye for now.